Ironside will not be seen tonight, so we may bring you the following special program.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time again for Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress with you. Happy to welcome my good friend. We have known each other for 20 years, Mike Norton. Welcome back. I know. Sorry.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's been a long time.
Hey, man. I was telling people back when you and Chris were crank casting and I was doing my thing and Around Comics was doing their thing. And we did the 24-hour podcast, which was, and Tim was part of it too. Seeley was part of it.
Everybody was, yeah.
Yeah, man. Scotty and
you even got Bendis on there.
Well, and didn't I think Seeley got the guy Underworld. Kevin
Grievix.
Yeah, I believe. Or if not, maybe Lloyd, maybe Kaufman. But I
know
he got somebody.
Remember. I didn't listen to it.
I know. Or we watched and we did a commentary for Blood Rain.
I remember that. I don't know what came over us. That was crazy.
And
I remember Bendis asked you at one point, he's like, is this for a charity or something? Why are you doing this?
It was great. I know. It was so funny. And yeah, it was great. And Casey, Scotty Young's wife, played songs.
All right. You're really kind of
well, dude. I got that memory. I mean, that's
I guess
thing,
so because I was there. I don't remember that.
Well, unlike some of you that did stay up, like you, I went home and slept for a few hours and came back and stuff like that. So no, I understand. I remember you. It was great, man. I forget. Maybe it was Sean, but I know we were talking to some comic creator. And it was great. You were totally leading, and you're like, "Well, all right, I'm kind of out of questions, so time to go." And like the way you said goodbye was so great, and I'm crying laughing. It was so fantastic.
I get that. I got that from my mom. She would do that. You'd be at home for 10 minutes, and he's like, "Well, okay, you got to go, I guess." Like, I'm here for the weekend, Mom.
Jesus. Well, mentioning Blood Rain, we're going to talk about horror because. Dude, I'm so excited for you and Seeley. Of course, you guys, this amazing comic, and we're going to talk about the history of the Revival comic, but also coming to your screens, everybody, in just a few days, June 12th on the SYFY channel, Revival, the TV series, comes to SYFY. Fantastic, man. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, it's like 10 years almost, I think.
Yeah. I forgot. Because, you guys were trying to, maybe it's a movie. Maybe it's something.
Yeah. I mean, it was almost immediately optioned. I mean, that was kind of a pretty blessed period for Image. They were having a lot of good comics come out, and a lot of number ones were doing pretty well. And yeah, we had NBC asking for us, and we that was the first people we went with, and we thought it was going to be a TV show, which we always wanted because we kind of designed the comic to be that. I mean, we were Tim and I always say we Lost weirdly is a big inspiration for this because I was watching it at the time and I was really intrigued with the mystery of it all, and me and Tim talked about it and we're like, yeah, but let's get the ending before we do everything. And
something that the Lost people and Alias too, having talked to writers for both shows, and it's like, yeah, we didn't know where it was going, and maybe Lost at least near the end kind of figured it all out or whatever. But I definitely know Alias was flying by the seat of their pants.
Yeah, it's something that I like. and I don't like about serial storytelling. It's like you have this ability to kind of fly by the seat of your pants, but you also have to be ready to block yourself into a corner. So
Yeah. Also, and it's funny because I've seen other YouTube critics talk about streaming versus traditional seasons of television.
Mhm.
And on the one hand, it is great having the bigger canvas to tell your story. But on the other hand, there really is something to be said for procedurals and done in ones. And okay, come back next week for a new
Yeah,
story.
I mean, that's true. You bring up a good point, because there's, I really do like the story told over a period of time, the graphic novel, if you would, of like TV seasons. But I
Yeah.
also, I think people have kind of decided that the done in one kind of comic is gone. But look at the longest running shows on TV. Those are your Law and Orders and stuff like that. And it's just like, don't next one. You never really find out much about your main characters other than they're here to do their job and stuff like that. So yeah, it's interesting that on TV it's very popular, but in comics it's not really like that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Elizabeth Rome on Law and Order. It's funny you mentioned that because I remember specifically because I met her at a convention because she was on Angel as well as the cop on Angel,
Oh
and I
yeah, that's
remember
right.
at Kate, and I remember her last scene on Law and Order. She gets fired, and her parting shot is it because I'm gay? And it's like, wow, it's like no indication on
Yeah,
the show
nobody
until
knew.
she said it. Yeah. Which is fantastic. No, man. Hey, Mark is a fan and says, great to see Revival coming to Sci-Fi. Love getting my copies signed by Mike and Tim back in the day at Cincy Comic-Con, Tony Moore's old show.
Yeah, that would have been back in the day. It's been a while.
I know. I'm sorry that Tony Cara and company didn't continue that convention. That was a fun
Yeah,
show.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Need a reason to get down there.
No kid. Exactly. We got to know Covington, Kentucky, right across the river from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
That was fun. Those were fun shows. Remember, I brought Marty Pasco to 1 year.
Oh wow, yeah. You got the hookup.
And he's like, I'm shocked that these people remember me. I'm like, Marty, like, I don't know how to break it to you, man. You're kind of a big deal. I'm like, people, of course, they go, we read your shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they didn't grow up in the era of comic stars,
Yep.
They kind of didn't believe anybody was actually collecting this stuff in the first place.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sadly. But no, man, this is great. God, I am, it's funny because like you said, it's for Revival. It started at NBC and now technically, same company with Universal owning.
Yeah, that was, after I went on that tangent. Yeah. It's interesting how we have kind of come full circle. We had a time in between where it was going to be a small budget movie, and actually the director of that ended up being the co-showrunner for this show.
Great.
Luke Boyce. And we had several iterations of it. Actually had a little reel at one point for it, for like potential investors and stuff like that, but that didn't pan out. And he really, I have to give credit to Luke Boyce. Actually, he really was kind of the champion for this show to get it done, because from the beginning, I was like, hey, let me know when it's on the air, and then I'll be, because I had been down that road before, and I wasn't really, didn't have high hopes, especially since, our first thing was we sold it. Well, didn't sell it. We kind of optioned it, and it didn't go anywhere. So I wasn't really now I'm excited, but it's it took a while for me to get excited. I was just very that kind of thing. So.
Well, I mean, we know from example the Batgirl movie getting completely made,
right?
and then
That's
Warner
like
Brothers,
the worst case scenario for that. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
And even Bendis with Powers which wound up on Sony's PlayStation and Crackle. But they shot in Chicago before they were in Atlanta and shot a full pilot because it was being possibly going to run on FX. Totally different cast. I remember Jason Patrick and Lucy Punch from British.
Oh, that would have
comedies
been
and stuff.
good. Yeah, yeah.
I guess though, here, and I'm going to speak out of school, although, and I'll tell the story, which is fantastic, and it is kind of public. Jason Patrick was not the nicest co-star, I guess. And remember Charles Dutton, Rock?
Mm-hmm.
He was in the pilot as well. And he kind of like took Jason Patrick to the side and said, hey, man, when you're number one on the call sheet, you're kind of like a quarterback on a football team. And, you kind of have to lead by example and, really be kind of a team cheerleader, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, thanks, Rock. I'll do my thing. And I guess made such a stink on the set that while they were shooting the pilot, there was a cover story in Entertainment Weekly, again, showing how long ago this was. And it was, basically, is Jason Patrick the biggest jerk in Hollywood? And somebody had Xeroxed the cover and pasted it all over the set.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's it. Vinnie Jones, the soccer player turned hooligan in a ton of movies, he was going to be in it and everything. Yeah, it was. I've never seen it. Brian has the finished FX pilot, and I've never had the opportunity to see it, but I would love to see it. I'd be very curious.
Yeah, all that stuff, I kind of keep my head out of that kind of, insider stuff. But now that I've seen a little of it, I get why it's exciting. There's this whole world that nobody even knows about as far as like the production of TV and movies. And I kind of like it that way. I think we know too much as it is, but it's kind of fun,
So have you seen a screener of the full first episode?
I have not. I don't know if Tim has. He hasn't told me if he has. They gave me an option to. They said, well, we can get you these episodes early. And I was like, no, I want to see it when everybody else does.
Okay.
So, because I've held out this long, I was purposefully like, no, don't tell me about it until you know something, that kind of thing. So it's now I want to watch it with everybody else, So.
Well, also, it's cool, the cast, and I'm going to screw up people's names, so you tell me, but I know that here, for instance, our protagonist, as I put her up on screen, get up there. Come on. God bless it. What the hell? Damn it. There we go. Boom. So, do you know her name? I can look it up on IMDb.
That's Dana, played by Melanie Scrofano, of Winona Earp and Star Trek. She's on Star Trek now, and a bunch of other stuff. So she was on here as Dana, and then her little sister is played by Romy Weltman, who was on a show that me and Julie watched, actually, called The Pradeeps of Pittsburgh. And they're kind of perfect, in my head when I drew them, they were more, I don't know how to describe it. I didn't think of Hollywood people, when I designed them. So it's like, I didn't think of them as like actresses, I guess, is the way. And now I've kind of got actresses playing these characters that were, to me, like very, like people in my family, kind of normal people. It's weird.
Yeah, but
I don't want to say that actresses are weird. I'm just saying that you know what I mean.
So did and forgive me because it's been a while since I've read Revival, and we'll get back to the comic. But also for this, was Luke Boyce, was he casting with your images in mind?
Oh yeah, they. I have to give them so much credit. They really, and I think this is because Luke was involved from the beginning. They really stayed as close to characters as they could, and in the show, even the scripts and stuff, the story. They deviate when they have to for the sake of a truncated show, and leaving things so that if they have to at some point do a different story, you know. So I forgot, I lost my my train of thought already.
Well, we were talking about casting, and in fact, you know, it's funny, Mike, as we're talking about old-fashioned shows that were more procedural and problem of the week. And again, I'm going to screw up his name, but I've been watching Jag, and much to my surprise,
Oh yeah.
there he is, everybody, 20 years later, man.
I mean, he looks perfect, right? I think I drew Wayne a little older looking, but I mean, I tell everybody, you know, when I met him, because I went up there to see the filming for a little bit. When I met him, you know, he's as tall as me, and he could easily suplex me if he wanted to. And he's, you know, 15 years older than me, probably, you know, and
yeah, maybe my age or slightly older. Yeah, man.
yeah. So I was like, he is way more intimidating than I thought Wayne would be in the comic.
He's great. And I haven't seen the first episode yet, but he is so, I mean, truly, I ignored Jag. And I really didn't, I mean, I was, hey, and I'll say as, you know, I certainly was a Catherine Bell fan from day one, but it was so funny. And I just started watching it on Paramount, and I'm like, I knew this was on for a while. And I'm like, oh my God, there's 10 seasons of Jag. And it really is A Few Good Men meets Top Gun.
Right.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And there really is a lot, and on a TV budget, and I'm sure the military was cooperative, but they have like good fighter jet effects and a lot of military espionage and intelligence, plus the legal things. And I'm like, God damn, I'm like watching Jag, and I'm like, Jesus, and enjoying it.
They're on for a reason. They last so long for a reason. He's interesting because he's a very different character on that show. Because I remember that show, and that's what I remember him from. And then he's playing Wayne, and he's like a whole different, like his whole like being is a different character now than the Jag days. You know, where he was kind of like pretty boy, cocky kind of. I guess he probably still is, but he's much more of I'm going to take you outside and kick your ass. You know?
No, it's honestly, I'm really looking forward to it. And he's a very charismatic actor.
He's very nice and very cool. He just gives off the aura of, yeah, I'm not to be messed with. He's like super awesome. It's like, yeah, I would like to hang out with you, but I don't want to make you mad.
I get it, man. So tell me about being on the set. What was that like?
It was very cool. They filmed in New Brunswick, Canada, and was just very picturesque. It's not to say that Wisconsin isn't, but it's a different. It's like on the water, and it's very maritime. It's not like farmland. So
yeah, landlocked the way Wisconsin is beyond the lakes that are in Wisconsin, and also, well, there really was a tone and visual feeling of bleakness in the original comic.
Right, because most of it takes place in winter, just because I didn't want to draw anything. But no, I'm just kidding. It added to the claustrophobia that we wanted.
Yeah,
just make it like physically impossible to go anywhere, even if you could. And credit to Luke again, they really kept a lot of that kind of look and feel, and they managed to get it up there. It's amazing seeing behind the scenes, and you see the actual locations and stuff, and I know conceptually how TV's made, all that kind of stuff. I've watched behind the scenes on stuff. I practically grew up watching that kind of behind the scenes stuff.
Sure.
But to actually see it, it's like, wow, this really is like cardboard. It's like, I thought they at least built some stuff, and it's amazing. Like I won't get into super detail, but it's like there's literally things just taped to walls and stuff like that. And you're just like, wow, that really looks cool on TV. And I was telling Julie, I think we were watching one of the Marvel shows, and I was like, I wonder how crappy this set actually looks. It's like on TV, it's like amazing, just like, I wonder what's actually even here, that kind of thing. So
yeah. Were you able to see any rushes, after something was shot?
oh yeah, I got to sit in the monitor seat and watch the whole thing. So yeah, they would send us dailies. We got to see that as it was being made, which is another reason I feel okay with watching it when it comes out, because I've sort of seen it go along. I would like to see how everything fits together now, but yeah, they would show us the dailies, and I was pretty amazed at what I saw.
Have you gotten a feel of, is it going to be episodic, or is it one big story, or how much of a combination?
It's like the comic. It's essentially the first season is the comic, is that, and because it's impossible to do 10 episodes as 47 issues.
Sure.
Wow. They are, that's when they get creative with what they have in and what they have out, and how things connect, and maybe there is a second season. What do we do then? So they got to think in that kind of stuff. So
understood. Hey, guess who's watching? Everybody, it's from the podcast. It's Franco.
It's that guy.
So I'm having a Mike Norton moment. It's just me and Mike, so this is good.
I've had many Franco moments recently. So yeah, I got to catch up, I guess.
There you go, catching up with Franco, another fine podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna have
on Facebook.
I'm trying to think of some alliteration for a Franco thing, but I can't. So,
I was always about that with, although the Bendis tapes, but I always would name my recurring people the King's Speech for Tom King.
mm-hmm.
Matt Fraction's Fireside Chats. We would do that. Fraction Fireside. So you got to go on, if you haven't already. You should go on his podcast the next time he does it, because he does drawing, catching up with Franco, and he'll have guests on to draw.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you guys should see,
okay.
Francis. I'm booking your show for you, man. Absolutely, you guys should do that. So no, it'd be fun. That would really be fun. 47 issues of Revival, and Mike, I remember because I would have these same conversations with people like you and Tim and Nick Spencer when he was doing Morning Glories. That was that same era. And my recurring question was, how do you keep the momentum going from those initial issues?
Yeah. So I bring up Lost again, because that was sort of when we were coming up with how do we make this so that we know what the ending is and still have this, the ability to take this, go on for a little while, and and what I was thinking when we were discussing this, and I told Tim, I was like, well, we can have this episodic kind of stuff where he comes up with all these other side quests, essentially. They're all tied together, but they're far enough that you could not have it and it'd be okay. But we knew that at a certain point, if you, not climax, but if a certain event happens, it's going to go downhill real quick. I don't mean in quality. I mean, we're going to have to end it real soon, because you can't draw out a tense, climax, right? You can't draw that out over. That's the problem with Lost,
Yes.
It's like they hit a point where it's like, you should follow this up. And then they said, no, 2 more seasons,
Yeah,
so
for real.
We knew that we couldn't do that. So I knew that once we hit a certain point, we don't know how many more issues it's going to be. It's just whatever naturally paces out. It could be 6, it could be 12, that kind of thing. So
sure.
We did have to think about that kind of stuff. That's why we wanted it to be 60, but we got to that point and there was nope, it's going to be less than that. So
like I said, I remember having the same conversation with Nick Spencer about Morning Glories. And that's the thing, man. I respect the ambition, but yeah, I mean, and also while those 47 issues were going, hey, here's a new book, here's a new book, here's a new book. And so, yeah, man, you're fighting for shelf space and wallet, space, really.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't really in my mindset. It was more of like
running out of ideas, or
no, not running out of ideas. No, not at all. It was more of a natural end. It's like I am a fan of things ending. It's like I get the idea of a ongoing, especially with these bigger characters, because that's essentially why they were created. And I have, an attachment there. It's not unappealing. It's just that with this story, I wanted it to be done when it was done. Tim and I are big horror movie fans, so we kind of left it open because that's just what you do in a horror movie. It's like, it's over, or is it, that kind of thing. So we do that in the comic, but I never really had any intention to go back and do more.
Because yeah, Mike, I mean, obviously that was a logical next question. In fact, last night I had a book club episode, and Bennis and Tom King and I and a bunch of our listeners were talking about Criminal. And, last summer, Ed was in Portland making his series, and it's going to be on Amazon soon. And he and Sean are going back, and I don't know if it's going to be a graphic novel or a miniseries or both, but they're going to do a new Criminal story coming late summer. And first of all, so no thought of you and Tim doing kind of a new story to, sell the series and everything?
Well, Tim, not too long after it was over, he mentioned the idea of doing, I don't know what it was, not a new series, but like a one shot or something of something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't think of why that needed to happen.
Okay.
But that was 7 years ago. It's like things change, and we haven't talked about it.
Okay.
We don't have any plans, at least in the very near future. But I see the appeal in the next story. I see how that could be interesting on its own. Like I would have to be like a completely different story, but be attached to what came before.
Sure.
I'm not interested in like seeing the further adventures of the Cypress family, that kind
Understood.
of thing. Because that's how you get Poltergeist 2. And 3, oh my God.
Mike, or 10 Fast and Furious movies and 9 or 8 Mission Impossible movies.
Shut up right now.
I know, sorry, I apologize.
But yeah, we haven't talked about it. It's not anything that has even been really thought about, but now I can see how it could happen. But that is definitely not on my immediate schedule.
Well, if not that, would you guys go back to press and do new collections of the 47 issues?
Well, we just did the compendium. It just like this year came out. So that's out there.
Okay. So that's the big one. Would you go back and do the individual?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a big murder weapon of a book. It's
right.
It has everything in it. Like
it'll cut off your circulation if you're reading it on your lap. Absolutely.
So I recommend everybody go buy that so they can read it before the show. You got a week.
Yeah, man, I know exactly. Well, you got 10 days right now. It's the 12th, everybody. That's when it's coming on the SYFY channel.
Yeah, I think it's SYFY first, and then the next week it's on Peacock, I think.
I figured that. Absolutely, man. No, that makes sense. There we go. I got the smaller one there. Think. So yeah, that's great.
It looks so cool.
I'm excited, Mike. I am excited. When you were making Revival, were you and Tim concerned about Walking Dead comparisons?
Yeah, sure. In fact, I mean, I don't think we strayed away from it. We didn't want to be the whole point of ours was that it was this isn't zombies like you think it is. This is not Walking Dead. This is, you know, he rose from the grave and now he works at the grocery store. This was, you know, we wanted more of a, it kind of seems silly to say realistic, but a definitely more it definitely more of a character based, like, quirky thing,
Yeah.
and not a very long horror movie. You know, we wanted there to be some lightness with ours, you know. So I think that it works particularly well when you are disarmed, and you can't be disarmed unless you know, laugh with someone, you know, when you get, that's, you know, you feel comfortable, and then that makes it even worse when something horrible happens.
You
And
need
so
the
I think,
release. Yeah.
yeah, and I think a lot of, you know, the zombie content is much more of a let's see how horrible we can make this for these people. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it kind of wears on you. Nobody likes to hang out in trauma that long. You know, it's like,
I'm with you.
Let's watch a comedy.
No, hey man, that's truly all the great filmmakers say. You got to put a little smooth in with the roughness and everything. And
Yeah.
like I said, give people a release. And also, sometimes it is the comedy moments that are the best parts of horror stories.
Well, I bring that up because it's like, I had never thought about, will they get the tone of this comic? You know, it's like I had never thought about the interpretation that way. And so it wasn't until I was on set that I was like, oh, that's right. Our comic was kind of funny too. You know, it's like they're really going for the offbeat, like, you know, if Fargo had way more gore in it, you know.
That's great. Well, that sounds great, and I'm glad, because I'll be honest, the trailers do look kind of intense, and
Well,
my
it
fear
is intense. That's the thing that we were wanting in our comic. We want this to be like, oh, I know that person. Aren't they funny? And then, oh my God, what just happened? That kind of thing. We want.
okay. Because in the trailer, I was just seeing the darker moments that are kind of typical zombie fare, but it is good to hear that the show will retain, because of the question of, yeah, but isn't it great that this person is back? And oh my, and it's relieving the grief that in some families likely had losing a loved one, and now that person is back. But obviously, as well, wait a minute, they're back and they're hungry, and they or whatever, however it's
Well, we couldn't.
however it's interpreted on the show.
If you ask Tim, he will tell you this is not a zombie story. And it's not. It's not a zombie attack story. It's a murder mystery where the murdered person is back to life. So that's what the story is. And the show is definitely that. There's
Excellent.
there is a reason you should be wary of dead people coming back, and we'll get into that in the show and the comic, obviously. But it is not about the zombie horde coming down on them. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. And truly, I do remember you guys telling me that when it was getting going and everything, and you're like, no, this isn't a zombie story. So no, I respect that. And again, I've always given it to you and Tim in your other collaborations as well, because it's always these interesting high concepts that it's like,
yeah,
you know, you had me at hello, man. Loaded what was Loaded Bible?
Loaded Bible. That's all Tim. I was just really kind of hired help on that.
Okay.
But yeah, he comes up with, he's very good at the concept. And I mean, not that he's not good at the follow through, but he's he comes up with a million ideas a day, and most of them are very, very good. And it takes me a while to come up with something that I like enough to like even share with people. But he just, that's the mark of a good writer, right? Is they're not afraid to throw things out. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Another
He comes up
Chicago.
with real good stuff.
Oh, say it again, Michael, because I stepped on you.
Oh, I was just saying he comes up with really good stuff.
Yeah. Here, another Chicago creator wishing you well, Dave Scheit.
Mr.
Congrats to
Scheit.
Mike and Tim. Well deserved. Absolutely. Get a haircut, Dave. I'm kidding.
Don't you tell him what to do.
I pick on him all the time. He knows that. He's a good man. You know,
He's
hey man, he and
pretty well too.
he's a good dude. Absolutely. Yeah, he's kicking. Hey man, he's doing great. I'm happy as hell for him, man. Mayor Good Dog and the stuff he's doing with Scott McMahon and everything. Scoot. Good stuff, man. Yeah. Absolutely. So now forgive me, Mike, is this a Jenny Frizen cover?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. That's
she
cool.
did all the covers and even the trades. She just painted over my sketches. So yeah, she did all of them.
Oh, okay. So it was a collaboration. That's kind of cool.
Only for the trade paperbacks.
Okay.
Because that I usually came up with a concept for those, but every single issue, she did herself. Yeah.
And I if people don't know, and I'm just throwing it out there because I think it's an interesting tidbit. It certainly wasn't always the case, but eventually Jenny married Seeley's brother Steve, and they're a great Chicago couple. And I always look forward to seeing them at cons and in the city and everything.
Let me know when you do. I haven't seen them in a while.
I briefly saw them at C2E2, and that was it.
I did that
2 months ago. I know. Well, we all get busy. I understand. I totally understand, man. But that's great. And I don't like. Is there any opportunity for them to use any of yours or Jenny's art in the show?
I kind of don't want to say, because I'd look if you're into comics and you're watching this, then it'll be a neat little Easter egg for you when you do see stuff.
I get it.
No, but there's lots of cool things, and I mean, if you like the comic, if you read the comic and were a fan, you're gonna like the show. They don't do anything that will insult you, and the stuff that they put in there, I mean, I show up and I'm like, oh wow, you thought about that. They paint the freckles on the not the twins, but the sisters. The freckles that I drew on these two sisters to make them look like sisters.
Yeah.
Neither the actresses have freckles. They paint them on there every time. I'm just like, wow, I didn't even notice that.
That's really cool.
Amazing. Yeah.
Man, that's great. Jesus, that's amazing. No, Mike, I really am. I'm so excited for you guys. And truly, I really hope that this, is a successful show and you get a few seasons out of it, man. That would be amazing. And the reason why I asked about the art is I'm reminded of what Allred and Chris Robertson, experienced on iZombie and everything.
Right.
And, so yeah, I was just wondering if, again, and hey man, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it was always a possibility, but we just got lucky. So
is there is there a Seeley Street or a Norton Way or any kind of nods like that as far as
I don't even know. I have a headstone in the graveyard. It's like, here lies Mike Norton. Because I got a couple of shots with it while I was up there.
All right, that's cool. And also,
He didn't let me take it back with me, but that's okay.
But did you take photos?
Was it? Yeah.
I'll cool.
Send it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, send them to me because I'll probably make a short of this or whatever, and we can show it and everything. That's great. But also, it's kind of chilling. Of like, yeah, I don't need to see my grave. Thank you.
That's fine. I got over that last year.
I'm trying to read this person's name. Phenomenal. Forgive me, dude. I'm going to stick with phenomenal. Best views on.
I think that might be spam.
Oh, it might be spam. Oh, you son of a bitch! You son of a bitch! God damn! Oh, I hate when that happens. God damn it! Oh, and it's from Twitch, and I'm not. I guess that maybe I am broadcasting on Twitch. I didn't realize. I hate that. I was on Twitch with a creator. I'll tell you off the air who it was, but some guy's like, hey, he's cute. I'd sure like to F him. And I'm like, man, fuck you, son of a bitch. I'm like, don't be an asshole. And so I don't, I in fact, Mike, you and I did an interview at Challengers that I did post on Twitch initially. and I just had so many bad experiences with Twitch. I'm like, yeah, screw
Really?
them. I'm not going to do this anymore.
We're too
Yeah.
old. We're too old.
Yeah. Mike, I said the same thing. I said it about
Also,
TikTok.
when we do these interviews, it's like I bet we ramble. I bet there are people listening. They're like, what?
No, Mike, and I know you're teasing, but truly, it is the greatest.
I don't mind it. It just feels like we're talking any other time. So.
Well, that's the great thing. And then the wonderful thing is that a creator, after doing this kind of conversation, will be at a convention and they'll go, "Hey man, just so you know, I heard you like to build ships in a bottle. I like to do that too."
Yeah.
I mean, and I mean, truly, like Slot is in Australia, and it's like, dude, I just want you to know you got listeners in Australia, and I'm like, well, actually, I did know, but that's always great to get that kind of positive feedback, Or even last night on the criminal discussion, my buddy Zach was on, and I don't know if you read Criminal, but
not all of it, but yeah, I've read a bunch.
Well, there was kind of a running theme where they would have a comic strip that looked like Dick Tracy, and it was called Frank Kafka. And this one fan is like, "Hey man, remember when you had Brubaker and Fraction together?" And Fracture was saying he would love to do a Frank Kafka comic strip. And I'm like, holy shit, yes, I do. And that was like 16 or 17 years ago. And I had forgotten it until the guy brought it up. And I'm like, yeah, I do remember that conversation. That's fantastic, man. And I'm like glad that people listen and remember that kind of shit.
They remember it better than we do.
100%. Yeah, my God. Absolutely. Well, listen, because somebody mentioned it in the chat, and I'll put up the question here from Gonzalo, who says, are we going to talk about Mike's new crypto book with Ryan North? Let's talk about Mike's new crypto book with Ryan North.
I'm drawing crypto with Ryan North.
All right, moving on.
I'm close to being done with it, actually. We've got several issues done already. It definitely comes out this month. I'm not sure what the date is, but yeah, it is. If you love dogs, you're gonna love it. If you're just into that whole, I did the super pets, and it's like, I used to be worried about, I don't want to be known as the dog guy, the pug guy. And my wife was like, you are that, so now I'm like, give me something with a dog in it. And battle pug. So that's why they called me. I'm pretty sure, it's like, hey, you like dogs. So I'm real happy to get that, whatever recognition I can get, I'll take it. So yeah, it's really nice. It's a fun, sort of origin story. It's
wow. So are we going back to Krypton? Crypto on Krypton?
Yes, you will see that. And,
wow.
His story is like funny and poignant and super sad in parts. Yeah, I felt all the emotions while reading it, because I'm like, I don't want to draw that. It's like, it's stuff that genuinely surprised me, and I thought it was just going to be Superman's dog comic, so it's not what you think it is.
That's, honestly, Ryan has been blowing my mind with his Fantastic Four stuff, and also at IDW, he was doing Lower Decks, the Star Trek comedy thing as a comic book. And no, the guy is ridiculously talented. And
I think a lot of his work that I've seen, it's sort of like what I was saying with the horror thing. You disarm them, and then it makes like the actual punch of the story surprisingly effective. And I think that's where he gets you. It's like when Robin Williams became a serious actor and everybody was like, whoa, he's really good. It's that kind of thing. You thought he can only do the one thing. This is, so not that he ever gave any indications of the opposite. But.
Yeah, One Direction. I'm with you, man. No, absolutely. Yeah. Another IAC podcast vet chumming in. Looks like another mystery at hand.
I thought I had been rid of him.
Art Balthazar, everybody chiming in. Fantastic.
Oh, I love these guys. It's like my family calling you.
James
All right,
says it.
Mom, thanks.
I haven't
Could have
seen any
used a different name at least.
I haven't seen any of your crypto images yet, and I'm curious. James has a good question here. Any thoughts of crypto's real life breed? Classic crypto used to seem like a spotless Dalmatian, but I understand the movie is based more on James Gunn's dog, who was a mutt.
That is a excellent question and something that was heavily discussed because I've drawn crypto before, and I've had to do. He's been every breed.
Really?
The past. Yeah, he's mostly pictured as like a white lab or golden retriever sort of dog,
but white.
Yeah, he's been a pit bull. He's been like a Jack Russell Terrier. He's been
wow.
It's whatever reference the artist drawing him at the time had, and yeah, James Gunn's actual dog, which is it's a very strange dog. It's tall, but it looks like a little toy breed, the face, and it's furry and moppy. And yeah, he's a mutt. And so what I did was essentially combine. So it's like it's one of the classic Labrador, but he's shorter and he's fuzzier. So he has the little beard and the floppy ears. But yeah. He's not a breed anymore. He's a mutt like the new one is. He just doesn't look exactly like it.
I'm glad that Art and Franco are watching, because anytime I talk about crypto, I have to bring up the fact that when Cartoon Network had their 2-hour block of DC, Art and Franco were making some interstitial in between the cartoons, like 90-second shorts. And there's a great one where Crypto and Streaky are in competition. Well, Crypto wants to compete with Streaky and go, let's see how many people we can save. Go. And of course, Streaky is a typical cat, sleeping, not even paying attention. And Crypto zipping around all over the place. And you're nodding, so you probably know that at one point there's an overturned boat, and it's Art, Jimmy the Muscle, Art's good friend, and me. And Crypto saves us. So when the first Superman trailer came out, I took a screen cap of all of us in the frame, including Crypto. And I had to write, I know what it's like to be saved by Crypto. So, and also my sister, and forgive me, everybody, I'm a broken record about this, but when we got our first dog, it was really her dog. Yeah, she's 5 years older. She was like 10 and I was 5. And, our parents are like, so what do you want to name the dog? And I'm like, Crypto. And she went, Whiskers. And I'm like, all right. But the good news is Whiskers was really fast. So I called him Whisk. And I'm like, all right, that's a cool name. All right, I can handle that. And he would respond to Whisk.
Name in there somehow.
Yeah, exactly, man. So he's kind of like the Flash's dog at that point. It was like, all right, I can live with that.
Yeah, it is interesting how much we actually talked about what kind of dog he was going to be. And it's because I've seen that I've seen old issues. I had to look at him to figure out how to do this the first time. And I was just like, nobody knows what he is.
Was there any input from Gunn in terms of like, hey, I really want the dog to look like X?
I don't think he mandated it, but it was definitely talked about by the editors. They were like, let's use that, just if only because the movie's coming out at the same time.
I would imagine the plushy toys that are likely to hit the stores as quickly as possible if they're not already out there.
Yeah. So for one thing, I love the dog in the movie, even though he's not really real. So, but I just like, I love that dog. So yeah, I kind of made it a hybrid of that. So yeah,
another comic creator saying hello, Mike. Jamar Nichols.
Hey, it's Jamar Nicholas. He's awesome.
Nicholas, I apologize, Jamar.
See, it is. It's like my family calling you.
That's awesome, man. I love when they do that stuff. Yeah, man, that's cool. We like it. No, that's great, Mike. And again, I'm excited to read it. And again, everybody, the Crypto comic starts this month from DC. I wish I had a specific date for you. But yeah, and I hope again, I got to talk to the DC boys and get Ryan on the show.
I should also mention before we finished that I just today put up the launch page for the next Battle Pug Kickstarter.
Yay!
So for not the next one, the first one, the only Kickstarter I've ever done. So
Congratulations. Hey man, that's great.
Yeah. So
Tell me, all right, tell me about the scope of the what is it? Are you making a graphic novel? Are you gonna do it as
it's
issues?
a graphic novel. It's a collection. I was gonna put it out as a series. It's about 150 pages of a new story. And I worked on it for like the last 5 years. I finally got the guts to finally do it. So today I put up the launch page, not the launch. It's the preview of the launch. So,
okay.
I'm going to make the campaign start probably in about a week or so. So
how long? You get a little quiet there. How long?
In about a week or so, it'll probably be live.
All right, so this month.
But you can go to Kickstarter, Battle Pug, I think, and get on the list to be notified. But I'll make the rounds with social media and tell everybody. So.
Another good local friend of ours. By the way, first of all, Jamar wants to know if you've taken your vitamins yet today.
I did.
That a boy. Good job. So I took my medication as well.
Vitamins, yeah.
Mike, believe me, I know. I believe. I mean, literally. I was texting Tom King and I called him. He's like, I'm at the doctor's office. I'm like, that was me last week. So yeah, man, that's
yeah.
Come on, man, it's just part of the deal, dude. So, are you kidding? Jamar's like, thanks, John, for having Mike on the show. Are you kidding? Again, Jamar and Jamar and I, we know each other a bit, but again, Mike has been a friend, as I said at the start of the show. Yeah. And Mike, seriously,
I've known Jamar longer than I've known you.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Crazy. Yeah, we go way back.
So. First of all, Matthew wants to know regarding Battle Pug. Is the format going to be wide like the original was?
No. So after the original story was wrapped up, I went to Image and decided to do it just comic size, just because I thought, I got a lot of grief from non-web comics people, like the people that comics fans, about the format not fitting on their shelves and stuff. And when I did the comic, people were annoyed that it wasn't widescreen anymore. So I'm just going to stick to comics because I know that. And
I was sad because I remember a moment, and this is before I was doing the podcast, but that people would take the regular size comic and tip it horizontally. So you got like a widescreen story.
Oh,
but the package was still the standard comic book form.
Yeah, it was kind of popular for a while. It's I don't know if it was as beloved as you or I might think it would. It just screams comic strip when you do it that way. I think there's tons of things you could do with it. It may have been ahead of its time, actually. So.
Mike, that's what I think, honestly, too. And frankly. Again, I really want to ask you about, and I'm so glad we're talking about Battle Pug, because you really were doing an early, not as early as, McLeod and some of these other guys. You were a couple of years after that, but still, it was really in the kind of webcomic 1.0 era. And look where we are. Well, please correct me. Feel free.
No, well, I don't know. I think webcomics, I early on I had always felt like I was kind of a phony in that way, because webcomics was a way bigger thing than I thought it was when I started looking at them, and they've got a whole history, and they've been big underground just because we didn't know about it. So it was big before I got there. I was just I was one of the first working in comics that do like a weekly web comic kind of thing.
Yeah.
But web comics were totally big before I got in there.
Well, and give the origin story, because another podcasting group was kind of
Oh, the iFanboy, yeah. Ron Richards of iFanboy, they asked me to do a T-shirt, and I was like, I don't have any of my own ideas that I've worked for Marvel and DC. I haven't. And they said, well, just come up with some. And that was literally the first thing that came into my head was a barbarian riding around on a giant pug. So, and the T-shirts got, out there, and people would ask, when's the comic coming out? And I was like, well, I hadn't thought about that. So I started thinking about it. And 5 years later, I had like all this. So, yeah. So it's been a while, and I've been meaning to get back to it. So we'll see how this goes.
I'm thrilled. And Mike, and it is the greatest compliment that all of you artists do when you put an image that looks like me.
Yeah, you've appeared twice, I think. Actually, you were in the old comic, and you're in this new one that I'm doing. Yeah.
So I don't have the image handy, but you put me on you made me basically a sheriff on a horse.
Yeah. Not to give anything away in the comic, but yes, you are an old-timey Western sheriff.
Which is so great, man. Honestly, I love that. And also, I don't know if it was coincidental or not, but back when you were drawing the last few issues of Justice Society, there was like the mayor.
That was definitely you. That was absolutely. I think I told you that at the time. That was absolutely you.
Well, and you even gifted me with a page, and I still have it.
Yeah, that's absolutely you.
Well, that was incredibly kind.
I like the idea of everybody putting John Suntress in their comics. So.
Yeah. Truly, Mike, I'm not kidding. Like Bendison Oming put me in Powers.
Mm-hmm. Put me in... I like the Suntress verse.
It's fun. It came up last night on the show, and people, because we had the readers on the live on the video as well, and they're like, "Yeah, man, come on, Suntress, you gotta put out like a book of like all your comic book appearances."
Yeah,
Jeremy Hahn
probably do that now. Yeah,
Gavin Guidry put me in Superman 78 as a Russian newsstand vendor, which I love.
Brezhnevian about you.
It's the eyebrows, man. I get it. Jesus, that's hilarious, man. But I'm so glad you're back on Battle Pug. Well, again, fine. You weren't a 1.0 webcomic guy, but you've seen the evolution with.
Oh, I was looking at them when they started, but I was like, sure, this isn't my thing. So, but I would peek my head back in every once in a while, and you'd be like, whoa, this stuff's amazing. So there's so much stuff going on in webcomics, and still, I mean, we're almost at the point where it's all the same thing now. So
true, but also, I mean, I love what's happening with Webtoons and Tapas and these platforms that, and our dear friend Katie Cook obviously taking full advantage of that. I'm sure other friends that I'm not thinking of are doing it. And also for your Kickstarter, you got Ryan Brown, the great Brownie. Is he kind of your guru?
I picked his brain. I went over to his house and took notes and stuff like that. And all I learned is that I should never do this. It's only crazy people do this.
For a quick aside, because Franco points it out and he's right. I was in Flash, Francis Manipal and Brian Bucoletto, and they were doing Flash. And really, it's me, Artie, and Franco around a hot dog vendor, and it's a Barry Allen panel and stuff, and it's like awesome, man.
Did y'all pose for that? That sounds like something that actually has happened.
Well, that's the thing. I just think Francis, knowing our eating habits, is like, yeah, let me do this. This is a no-brainer. But that's cool. But no, regarding the Brownie and him helping you with the Kickstarter, one of the coolest things I ever saw at Cincy Comic-Con, Tony Moore's show. Milk and Cheese.
Evan Dorkin.
God bless you. There you go, man. So Dorkin is on a panel with Brownie, and they're talking about comics, and Brownie brings up Kickstarter. And at first, Dorkin, I don't know if it was, and I don't think it was with any malice, but he was just, old established artist and young kid. Who the hell is this kid and stuff? And was kind of jabbing him a little bit on the panel. But then he heard Brownie talking about Kickstarter and everything else. And literally, it was such a 180 that at the end of the panel, he's like, hey, can I talk to you about Kickstarter? You really seem to know this stuff. And it's like the magic of Brownie, man. The Jedi mind trick. There you go. No, you want to talk to me. And it's like, it was so great to see. So,
Evan has what I think I always refer to it as like East Coast intimidation. It's
yes.
like it's my grandmother had it. She could tell you she loves you, and you'd be like, "Is she gonna kill me?"
Shaken has that vibe,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm with
Oh,
you, man.
absolutely. He's got it in spades.
Well, again, New York guy. Absolutely, man. I hear
Mhm.
you. I absolutely hear you. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's truly like, and also, Brownie, I got to give it up to him. And especially right now, because the Cubs are just killing it this season.
Oh, he must be in heaven.
Well, he's not. Now he's a yeah, he's a Tiger fan. But back in and I always get the year wrong if it was 15 or 16, and it was like the end of August, and he's like, "Well, you're a Cub fan. You got to be excited as hell." And I'm like, "Brownie, I've been disappointed since I was a 4-year-old in 1969." And every time it's like, and especially earlier when they were in the hunt and they blew it with the Marlins with the Bartman foul ball and everything
Oh yeah, I was
and
there.
like truly my best friend and my friend had almost like tears in it or like a catch in his throat, and he's like, I really think they could win this year. And I'm like, yeah, I do too, man. And then we got disappointed. So I'm like, Brownie, I'm not even watching. And he's like, John, they at the very least are going to be very explosive in the playoffs. You don't want to miss this. He goes, they could go all the way. And I'm like, all right, Brownie, I'll start watching. So thankfully, I caught the last month of the regular season and I watched all the playoffs. And every time I see him, like, thank you, because again, at least in my lifetime, I finally got to see the Cubs. But man, they're killing it this year. Jesus.
Well, I'm sure he's pleased. Yeah, I'm sure he's pleased with you telling that story because I know that rather than drawing comics and making TV shows, Brownie would much rather be evangelizing baseball to the world. That's all he. I think that he loves that more than his family, than comics. He is a big baseball dude.
Is his friend Mike Costa, who he's made comic books with, is that the Daily Show Mike Costa as well?
Oh, I don't know. I don't
I'm gonna
know.
have to ask Brownie
I
then. I'm gonna
think
text him and
so.
ask him that.
Maybe.
Yeah, and again, common enough name, but also uncommon, so you never know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, Franco said, I don't know anyone like that from the East Coast that has that edge to him. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So too goddamn funny. Any good low budget movie recommends of late?
No, not at the no, not at the moment. I mean, there's probably stuff if I thought about it, but no, I've been watching a nice, good movies lately.
What have you seen?
What did I watch? Oh, it's a horror movie that I didn't think. Oh, I saw Heart Eyes, and it was cuter than I thought. I thought it was not going to be good, and it was.
Okay. Is that streaming or in the theaters?
Yeah, I think it's one of the streaming services, one of the 5 million that are out there. It's so hard to, like, when me and Julie want to watch something, we're like, oh, I think it's on that. And it's like, nope, it's not on that. And it's like, maybe it's on that. And I'm like, be easier if it's cable.
Jamar wants to know, or he's telling me to ask you about Devil Dog Hound from Hell.
Jamar, is that? Oh yeah, that's right. Devil Dog, the movie Devil Dog, the Hound from Hell. We talked about that.
Is it like a Cujo kind of movie?
It was a TV movie, I believe, and it had who's Kolchak?
Oh, Jerry McGavin, sure.
Yeah, he was in it, and they get like a dog who's like the devil, and slowly corrupts his family, and he has to. It's really cheesy, but it's awesome.
Well, Mike, honestly, my buddy Rob Burnett and I talk about those made-for-TV 70s horror movies because I watched them. I kind of fell out of love with horror, but all those Bermuda Triangle movies and Satan worships and kind of knockoffs of Rosemary's Baby or the miniseries, as you remember, The Sentinel. My God, that was seriously fucking scary.
And definitely like the first It. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, the miniseries, absolutely. Mike, I think the original miniseries is superior to the two movies that we got.
I mean, there's an argument for that, sure.
And maybe because I saw it first, then that obviously plays into it.
I mean, that's part of it, but also there's, not having all the bells and whistles at your fingertips sometimes makes you do more creative stuff.
Well, plus for it being a miniseries, Tim Curry, Tim Reed, Richard Thomas. I mean, and I'm sure I'm leaving other like known TV entities out of that original miniseries. But that's why, like, man, Tim Curry was as scary as fuck Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, he's got the perfect. They didn't have to do anything with his eyes. He already had the scary looking eyes, But I was wondering too. I have been really diving deep in these streamers that run commercials. The acronym is Free Advertising Supported Television, or as I always like to say, we used to call it television. So you didn't need the anagram. That's been the model for TV since the 40s, for Christ's sake. But yeah, I mean, and again, a lot of it is, I mean, I see the horror stuff. I don't watch it, but I mean, not only that, but like the Cinemax dirty movies and stuff and things like that, they're all over. But also like a lot of good old movies. And like, Gabe Hartman and I look for like crazy movies. And we just did a whole thing on like one of our favorite Western screenwriters and directors. And we found a shit ton of his movies sitting there on Pluto and Tubi. Are you doing that with horror?
Tubi is a treasure trove for the particular kind of movie that I watch. And it's because it reminds me a lot of like actually Prime back in the day. There was a time where you could just put stuff on Prime. And it's like there was no curating or quality control. And you could get some like, holy crap, how was this? Who was responsible for this? And Tubi has those movies now. And you have to go looking for them, but they're there. Yeah.
I hear you, man. No, absolutely. Oh, James wants to know, and again, this is a good callback to some of your previous work, but did Mike like the Blue Beetle movie?
I love the Blue Beetle movie. I love the Blue Beetle movie. Yeah.
That's cool.
I expected to like it, but I was like, liked it more than I expected.
That's awesome. And also, it reminds me to ask you about your Marvel creation, Gravity. Mm-hmm. And I know you and Sean McKeever. Has Gravity made an appearance in the last couple of years in any way?
Not that I know. You'd have to tell me, actually. I don't. Somebody sent me a screenshot of some kind of cartoon, but I don't know if that was real. So I don't. I think that could have been a deep fake or something of maybe a Gravity appearance. But yeah, I don't. He came out. They killed him. They brought him back, and then me and Sean did him again. And I don't know where he is now. We don't know where our boy is.
Yeah, exactly, man. No, I get it. And then for people who don't know, Gravity is this great character that from a design standpoint was kind of an homage of that Paris Cullen's 80s Blue Beetle design. Is that fair?
It was definitely an homage to Paris. That's true. It definitely was. And, he was doing Ditko, but he has this very, he was integrating that anime into American comics way earlier than I think a lot of people were. And so it has that kind of cartoony thing that I really have.
And also another original creation of yours, The Answer, of course.
Yeah. Someday I'll do more of that.
I hope so, buddy. Truly. I mean, and again, listen, we all want you to make new stuff, but that's why it's like, no, it would be great to see you get back to The Answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hope so.
All right, B things. All right, again, I don't know if this is code. Are we talking about
Velocipaster is a bad movie on purpose? I haven't watched it because of that. I tend to like things that are a little more sincere. But I've heard Velocipaster is pretty funny though.
Okay. That's cool. Again, did you go Nightmare Weekend was just a while ago, wasn't it?
No, I was in New Hampshire for Free Comic Book Day. I wanted to go. Yeah.
What were you promoting at Free Comic Book Day in New Hampshire? Just you.
being up there.
Ah, that's cool. Hey, man. All right, you're a big enough deal. You know, Mike, too. I was hoping someone was going to ask you, but I will. I always think fondly of your work on Green Arrow with Winnick,
Mhm.
and then as it progressed, also you had that moment where Jesus Sienkiewicz
Yeah.
was inking over you, and I always felt that was such an interesting alchemy because the end product was very different from your style, but also
Yeah.
very different from Bill's style as well. And I wonder what you thought of that.
Oh, it was, yeah. I mean, one of my career highlights. I'm very lucky for that to have happened. And I learned a lot from it. Uh, and yeah, it was amazing that he was able to make it look like a Bill Sienkiewicz page, but also a Mike Norton page, which that's why he is who he is. You know, he can do it. He's kind of a magician, a
Who was
wizard.
the literally a wizard? I'm with you, man. Who was that redheaded female villain of Green Arrows that was your co-creation?
Cupid.
Cupid, of course.
Yeah, the stereotypical like uh, jealous stalker girl. You know, I love and I dislike that character. So
Oh, like a little cringe because of kind of.
I think so a little bit, but I mean, it was definitely we were definitely going for a thing. I just don't know if it came off that way. So
Okay, I understand. Well, and the cool thing was that, of course, she showed up on the CW show.
oh yeah, and actually, when I watched the show, I was like, oh, I get this character a little better now. I don't know if I did when I designed her.
Okay, okay. No, and again, well, Mike, you know what you're doing. I mean, she was very beautifully drawn and
Oh,
everything. So, yeah, absolutely. And of course, too, your work on Black Canary during the whole Ollie romance and stuff.
mhm.
And Mike, were you the artist when they got? Well, maybe not, but when they got
Right
married or
after that,
leading up to the wedding?
when they got married, I came in after that.
Oh, you came in after that. Excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was. What
I
was
know I'm
the?
blanking too.
I forget because there were a lot of artists going in and out at that point.
Right. And I remember too, and again, forgive me, everybody, I don't want to sound misogynist, but somebody designed uh Dinah's basically bridal lingerie, I remember as well. And it
Oh
being
yeah, right. I forgot who that was.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it might have been Terry and Rachel Dodson. It might have been.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know. There's
one
another question for Terry, I guess, next time I talk to him or whatever. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, by the way, as B Things said, that Amazon movie you mentioned, he said he really loved watching that movie on that he'd want to watch on Amazon Prime again. So that's cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
But hey, man, not only Cupid on the CW, but we're about to experience a Mike Norton co-creation in Revival
Yeah.
coming on June 12th on the SYFY channel. I'm very excited. I think it's the cast I know is great based on their previous work. And
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, it was funny when Luke was telling me who was in it, and I was like, "Oh, you mean the lady from Ready or Not?" Or that kind of stuff. I was picking out the movie that you don't know them from. You know?
I forgot. And what's her name again? Forgive me, the actress.
Oh, I forgot. I don't put me
Oh,
on the
I
spot.
was the lead. But she.
Oh, the lead. I thought you meant the actress that was in Ready or Not.
Oh,
Melanie Scafano is.
yeah,
Dana.
Melanie. Yeah,
And
she. And I had forgotten. Yeah, she's Captain Pike's captain girlfriend,
yeah,
who's
yeah.
also a captain. And right now, her fate is. We'll find out in about a month and a half if she survives the Gorn attack or not in Strange New World season 3.
Fucking Gorn.
I'm excited. And of course, Winona, if you want to also experience her past work, the great Winona Earp series.
Yeah.
And again, I forget everybody's name, the guy from Jag.
David James Elliott.
David James Elliott. So if you want to experience
Suitably scary and suitably wholesome.
and if you want to experience him as you're waiting for new episodes of Revival, Jag right now on both Amazon Prime and Paramount Plus. I'm telling you, dude, I am all about Jag, and that's why I'm so excited that he is part of Revival. Truly, I know.
Also mention Romy, who is our M, who is all suitably awkward and also terrifying.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Again, you kind of get a sense of that in the trailer and everything. So no, this is exciting, Mike, honestly. And I can guarantee you, I'm definitely going to bug you during this season to talk more about the show,
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
and Seeley as well. In fact, Seeley texted me while we've been talking, and he's shooting me a screener, so I will be more than prepared. But
Oh,
again,
so you are going to see it before me.
I know people, Mike. I don't know how to break it to you. You know, I know. Isn't that funny? That it was like that. Jeff Johns was like that with Stargirl with me, and he's like, "You want to see the whole season?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah, of course.
Goes, here you go. And I'm like, "Hey, that's awesome, man." So no, this is great. Honestly, Mike, I'm so happy for you and Tim. I really hope the audience responds the way they did to the comic, and there's a reason why that thing lasted for 47 issues.
Yeah, I hope
So
so too. Yeah, I'm excited. I hope everybody likes it.
and also the giant revival compendium available through Image.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike is getting ready to launch his Kickstarter campaign for the return of Battle Pug. All interesting shit coming from Mike Norton. I'm thrilled, buddy.
Yep. Battle Pug Cosmic Doggacy on Kickstarter.
And Crypto, Ryan North and Mike from DC Comics starting this month.
Yep.
The Wonder Dog. That's great. Way to
go,
go, Mike.
I got to go do stuff. I got to work.
I know, man. I'm going to let you lie down. I know. I'm probably like wearing you out with this conversation. But no, actually hang out because I wanted to talk to you about something off the air.
Yeah.
But that's cool. All right, beautiful, buddy. Everybody, thanks a lot for watching and listening. Tomorrow, Steve Lieber, another DC guy, who sadly just wrapped up Metamorpho with Al Ewing and also has a big Jimmy Olsen oversized thing coming this summer as well. So it's going to be great to talk to Lieber. I haven't talked to Lieber in years. And that's going to be tomorrow night on War Balloon. And more great stuff this week as well. So join me then. Until next time, everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.